Hi, this is Mark Parisi with a Mountain Magazine Quick Tip. Today we're going to show you how to do a quick hot wax with some yard sale equipment, the cheapest stuff that you can get to get into waxing your own skis. We have a yard sale iron. You shouldn't really spend much more than $1 on it. What makes it unique is it's an old school iron, even before there were steam irons. So it's a smooth, flat surface, just like an expensive waxing iron that you could order online, and it has temperature control on it. Those are the two things you need. As long as it's working properly, it'll do a fine job. Another cheapo item is a Scotch-Brite pad from the hardware store. You can buy a bunch of them for a couple bucks, or from the grocery store. From the shop, you need a plastic scraper. You want to keep it nice and sharp, and you can keep an edge on it just with a file. Depending on how involved you want to get, you buy wax, but start off with just buy universal waxes from your local shop. Universal warm, universal mid-range, and then a universal cold wax. If you have 3 waxes, you have more than enough. You don't need a lot to wax a ski. If you just have a decent workbench, you can cob something together with a couple of 2x4s. So the iron is on, it's warm enough to melt the wax, and you don't want it to get smoking, especially with one of these moderate temperature waxes. You can just bring it over, lay a little bead of wax down, drip it right off the end of the iron. What you get from a quality hot wax is a ski that glides better. Not only makes the ski go faster, but it also makes the ski turn a lot easier. It helps prevent rock damage and prolong the life of your ski. You don't want to wax a dry ski, so you just take that bead of wax and you work it in, being careful. Now the iron's pretty well coated with wax, so you can kind of work a little bit at abandon, but you want to just kind of get that nice glaze of wax over the whole ski. If your iron is pouring a lot of smoke out, you have it a little bit too hot. And the colder temperature waxes, you should expect to have a bit of smoke, but in these warmer waxes, the iron shouldn't be smoking a lot. Work that wax into the ski and get a good melt. And you'll start to feel a little bit of warmth coming through the ski, especially with these warmer waxes. You don't have to spend a ton of time, but you want to make sure that you get a nice melt and the ski gets a little bit warm. And that's another important point, is that the ski should be at room temperature before you start any of this work. That's it. It's a nice thin bead, so it didn't pour wax all over the edges of the ski. And you quickly turn your iron down, unplug it, and get that wax off, and it'll pretty much stop smoking in a second. So now, ski's waxed. You want to let it return to room temperature. Some people leave their skis overnight. Make sure that all that wax is hard into the pores of the ski. You can just let it get back to room temperature in about an hour, then you can come back and scrape it. You can't see it, but the ski is essentially, the base material is full of pores. And what you're doing when you wax a ski is you're filling those pores with wax, and all the excess needs to come off. And this is the hard work part, which is why most ski shops nowadays, you have to request a real hot wax. They all use kind of a cheapo version of kind of a buff wax wheel that puts a real surface coat of low quality wax on your ski, and then they charge you $5 and you think, oh wow, I just got a hot wax for $5, but it really did nothing for your ski. It's like a rip-off at the car wash. So you see, you're working at the edge of that scraping tool down the ski, pulling all of that wax, or almost all the wax, out of it. You can pull some of the black hairs of the base material up, and you also, if you skied over some dirt or some dirty snow, that wax pulled that dirt up and out of the pores of the ski. And you just keep getting after it. And the more you do this, the more experience you have, the more you start seeing gobs of wax still on the ski, and you kind of work those areas off. And for the sake of brevity, we'll kind of assume that the ski is completely scraped. And you don't want to go crazy with it. When you're not getting wax anymore, you should stop using the hard plastic tool, which isn't the greatest for your base, and move to your Scotch-Brite. Scotch-Brite works really well on the softer waxes. It's about all you need. For really hard waxes, you need brushes, but that's more advanced and the brushes are expensive. So you just take that Scotch-Brite and you start buffing more and more of that wax out of the ski and out of revealing the structure of the ski. And forgive me that there are some gobs of wax still, but you just keep working that Scotch-Brite until you reveal the base structure. And the base structure is essentially what that expensive stone grind at the ski shop did. It was it put a fine structure on the base of the ski that channels water. As you ski, your ski bases are essentially melting snow crystals. And a really fine structure for cold weather lets the ski glide, and more open structure for warmer snow will keep the ski gliding. But you're just pulling all that excess wax out of the base, and that's it. Besides cleaning up your side edge, take that same scraper or another one and pull any of that wax that dripped off over the sides. That'll feel like a burr at first. It'll ski right off, but you want to get that off there, off of both sides. And the more you wax the ski, especially with different temperatures of wax, the longer lasting your glide's going to be, and you'll protect that base for years. You can see it's got a nice shine to it. Rocks will skip off it. You'll glide, you'll turn better, and it'll feel like a brand new ski, but even better because they don't hand wax brand new skis anymore.